Okay, welcome to 2013-01-07, July 1st, 2013, of course, and Canada Day. Happy Canada Day. And by the looks of the terminal here, I'm going to install Gentoo 64-bit version in Oracle VirtualBox. So at the bottom, we have Live CD with a flashing cursor, so I'll just clear the screen and make sure I spell clear properly. A lot of this I'm trying to memorize, but I might have to pause and think for a minute. There's a lot. Okay, there's a heck of a lot to installing Gentoo, even over Arch Linux, which is similar in the beginning to Arch Linux. So first of all, we'll just do our usual routine. We'll ping google.com to make sure that the virtual adapt, so we can see that it's been picked up, so press Control C. Okay, we're going to use CFDisk. Again, if you installed Arch Linux, you'll know this. CFDisk is to create our partitions on our virtual hard drive, and we don't have to specify a device, so we'll just press enter. And you see here we have approximately 40 gigabytes of free space, so we'll just hit at the bottom where it says new, just press enter, primary, and I'll give it approximately 20 gigabytes, so 20 and 3 zeros, 1, 2, 3. Enter beginning and make that bootable. Arrow down 1, new, primary is fine in this case because we're only using 3, and this will be our swap. I'm going to give it 2 gigs or 2048 approximately, and I'm going to throw out that at the end. So arrow key down 1, and we tab over, arrow key over to where it says type. 82 is the file system we want, so we press enter, and now it's a swap partition. Arrow key up one more, new, and whatever's left, and press enter. So now we have our 3. You can make more. This is just an example. So anyway, we go over, arrow key over to right, type in the word yes, and then press enter, and press Q to quit. And we can get an idea of our partition layout if you type in fdisk -L. You see there. So we're going to make a file system. So it's mkfs, make file system, dot, and it's extension 4 we're going to use. And on the first DEV, STA1 is going to be that. So you press enter. And we'll do the same thing. I'll put arrow key up once or twice, depending on how many times you have to for what you've typed in. And MK file system extension 4, and we're going to use SDA3. So just change that last 1 to a 3. Now for SDA2, that's our swap. So MK swap, make swap while on that device, SDA2, and you put in end, turn it on, swap on that same device. Okay, hit enter. And now we're going to mount the 2 partitions. We've already mounted the swap, basically, it's on. So mount, and DEV STA1 to /MNT /Gen2 1 and Gen2. Very important. Make sure you have /MNT /Gen2. Okay, and then inside that, we're going to make mkdir, make a directory on MNT Gen2. And that's going to be our, inside there is home. So we're going to mount our SDA3 on that. So let's mount DEV SDA3 on MNT /Gen2 /home. Okay, everything's mounted. So all we do is just change directory to the Gentoo mounted partition. So change directory /MNT /GENTOO and clear and ls to list out what's there. We have home, lost and found. Now we're going to download a couple of packages. This is the way you do things in Gentoo. Usually, there's probably different ways, but this is following the handbook. So we're going to use Lynx, Links, text-based web browser, and you have to type in the address for anything you do in Lynx. So it's, in this case, we're going to go to Gentoo. So www.gentoo.org/main/en, and then finally mirrors rs, oh boy, .xml. You get a welcome message, and what's going on here? Looks like the mirrors are down. Nice. Okay. There they are. Okay. So we'll just hit mirrors, and all I'm doing is just pressing the arrow key up and down, and just holding it down to navigate quickly. So we're going to choose a mirror close, and choose one that's close to you. There's USA, and it just goes down continuous. I'll choose an HTTP server, and we want to go down to releases, and then arrow down to AMD64, right at the bottom, current stage 3, and we want stage 3 AMD64, the tar file, tar.bzz, whatever, 2. Press enter, save, and enter, and give it a couple of minutes to download. Alright, once the download finishes, that dialog box closes. So we're going to go back, navigate backwards. In my case, it's the left arrow key. Depending on what situation, it might be different for you. So go back, and back one more, and down to where it says snapshots, and you press enter, and down to current, and there's a lot of them, as you can see here. And I'll just page down and arrow down to get Portage latest TA tar BZ2. So you press enter again, and of course same thing, save, and default location is fine, and press enter for OK, and give that a couple of seconds, or it's not as big to download. Okay, so that's finished. So we're done with Lynx. So we press Q on our keyboard to quit, and enter for yes. And we can list out what's in the Gentoo now, and we can see that we have the 2 archive files here. So we have to extract them. The first one we want to extract is stage 3. So that's just tar, and then a space, and these switches X, V, J, P, F, another space, and then stage. You start typing the word stage, like STA or STAG, and press tab, it will complete it for you, so you don't have to type in the whole thing. And in this case, we don't have to extract it to a different directory, so it's the same directory. Press enter, and give that some time as well to extract. Okay, as you can see, it's finished, so clear screen. And you do an ls now, and you see we have our base Linux layout. So obviously the next thing is to extract the Portage tree, which is basically the whole concept of a huge concept of Gentoo. So oops, I gotta make sure I'm in there. TAR XVJPF Portage. Start again, like say port. Now we do have to specify a directory, so you notice the blinking cursor has a space, so make sure there's a space there, and it's a dash and a capital C, another space, USR, and right after USR, a slash. And again, press enter to extract and give it some time. Now that Portage is extracted, you can take a look. I guess so we'll do it ls of the full path, so slash mnt slash gen2 slash usr slash por, and tab completion comes in handy there, and press enter, and there we go. There's our portage. With that, we can now go and edit our make config file. Now this is VirtualBox, so there's not a lot you can really specify, but there is optionally a couple of things you can do. So it's we're going to use nano, and the full path again, mnt slash gen2 slash usr, not usr, etc this time, sorry, portage, and make.conf. Okay, this is our make config file. We have some variables already specified, basically. Not much you can, like I said, in VirtualBox you can do, but if you're installing this on your machine, read up about it on the Gen2 handbook. So CF flags. From what I've been messing around with, this seems to be, it doesn't complain or anything, it seems to work, is MARCH, multi-architecture, I think, equals, in my case it's an AMD family 10. That's the way it sees it. It's been for Gen 2, and it's I meant to say it's a 6-core AMD Phenom 2 6-core. And under the last where it says use equals mine in quotes, I'm going to make another entry, make ops equals and then quote dash j. Now that j is to specify the cores you have, or CPUs. So if you have one CPU, it'd be +1, so it'd be dash j2. In my case, I gave this six cores in the virtual machine, so it'd be dash 7, the +1. And nano, control X, and press Y, and then press enter to save that. Alright, we're going to use that same file, so I'm going to arrow key up to where we had that, and we're not going to use nano, but we are going to output something. It's called mirror select, and that's to get mirrors to download your packages that are close to you. So mirror select, and a dash I, and a dash O, and then 2 arrows pointing to that directory, and then press enter, and it says downloading a list of mirrors, and then you just page down or use your arrow key to find your a mirror close. Now there's HTTP, FTTP to choose from in this case, so I'm going to use HTTP. So I'll highlight that with a space bar. Now it has a star, and press enter for OK. And it throws us back to the command prompt way at the bottom there. So clear the screen. Same thing, I'm going to arrow up, and I'm just going to add one switch, dash R, so make sure you space that out, and then again, and arrow key down, and rsync for that, and press enter, and we're back to the command prompt.